Most people walk through life with their minds scattered in 1,000 directions. They say they want success, but their attention is jumping from TikTok to Netflix to random get-rich-quick schemes. Focused attention, though? That's the silent superpower. Sadhguru often says if you give anything your full attention, not half-hearted effort, not multitasking energy, doors start unlocking. It's not about working harder. It's about seeing deeper. Think about a magnifying glass. Sunlight alone doesn't start a fire, but when that light is focused, it can ignite even the driest leaf. The same goes for your life. If your money mindset is fogged up with distractions and inconsistent effort, you'll never build lasting wealth. Laser focus isn't just a productivity hack. It's foundational in reprogramming your mind for wealth. What you water grows, and if you're watering everything, you're feeding nothing. The wealthiest people don't necessarily know more than you. They're just more focused. Warren Buffett reads for hours daily, but he's not reading everything. He's filtering through noise to find signal. That's what financial psychology demands. Filtering out the junk, tuning into what truly matters. And here's the kicker. Once your focus sharpens, something strange happens. Value starts flowing back to you, but that opens up a deeper question. Most people have it backwards. They chase money like it's some elusive treasure at the end of a rainbow. But here's the thing, money doesn't come to those who chase, it comes to those who create. Sadhguru puts it plainly, when you stop obsessing over money and focus on solving real problems, money has no choice but to follow. Zuckerberg didn't build Facebook thinking, how can I be a billionaire? He saw a gap, created value, and money naturally showed up. The millionaire habits that matter most aren't flashy, they're built on value. Whether it's building a digital product, writing code, selling coffee, or teaching kids, if it solves a problem or enhances life, it holds value. Financial freedom mindset isn't about grinding endlessly. It's about positioning yourself as someone who brings something useful to the table. And here's the catch, value doesn't have to be grandiose. Even a YouTube channel like this, delivering truth and insight, is a form of value creation. Let's break this down practically. Think of companies like Canva or Notion. They weren't born out of a desperate race for cash. They simplified people's lives. They gave value first. Your money beliefs need to shift from, how do I get rich? To, how do I help more people, better and faster? That's how you dissolve subconscious money blocks and shift from a scarcity versus abundance mindset. And once you've created value, what kind of person leads that charge? Leadership isn't a job title, it's a vibration. Some folks wear suits and carry authority, but they don't move people. True leaders? They don't just manage, they magnetize. Sadhguru breaks it down into 3 elements: integrity, inspiration, and insight. Integrity is non-negotiable. It means your thoughts, words, and actions are in alignment. Just doing the right thing even when nobody's clapping. That's what builds trust, and trust is currency in the wealth mindset. Inspiration, though, is the spark, this contagious energy. When someone walks into a room and others instinctively want to follow, that's not luck, that's emotional resonance. Think of Elon Musk. Whether you agree with him or not, the guy breathes vision. People don't just follow his products, they follow his fire. If you want to reprogram your mind for wealth, start by fueling yourself with purpose so deep that others can feel it without you even speaking. And then comes insight, the ability to zoom out and see the big picture. It's what separates reactive managers from visionary leaders. Millionaire habits include reading books like The Art of Thinking Clearly or Principles by Ray Dalio, not for status, but to sharpen perspective. Leadership anchored in insight doesn't crumble under pressure. It adapts, it foresees, and it acts before others even notice the shift. But what happens when money becomes the leader instead? Here's the brutal truth. When money becomes the goal, people lose their soul. Sadhguru's take? Keep money where it belongs, in your pocket, not in your head. The moment your identity is tied to a bank balance, you're no longer driving the car. You are the car. And if money crashes, so do you. But if you see it as just a tool, a screwdriver, a lever, a bridge, you'll always be in control. It's there to support the mission, not become the mission. Let's look at it through the lens of financial psychology. People with a scarcity mindset obsess over money because they fear losing it. Those with a wealth mindset treat it like oxygen. Necessary but not worth panicking about. Think of people like Keanu Reeves or Chuck Feeney. Billionaires who lived simply because they knew money wasn't who they were. That's the level of emotional detachment you need to reprogram your mind for wealth. Practical tip: start measuring value not just in dollars, but in freedom. If a decision gives you more time, more peace, or more energy, it's a good investment. That's what the rich versus poor mindset boils down to. Poor thinking sees money as a finish line. Rich thinking sees it as a starting point. But in a world full of data and noise, how do you even know what's worth focusing on? We're drowning in information but starving for wisdom. Sadhguru says it best: just because you've consumed data doesn't mean you've grown. Modern education is obsessed with cramming. Memorize, repeat, forget, rinse and repeat. But that's not intelligence, it's storage. Real intelligence is like jazz. It improvises, adapts, and creates. If you want a wealth mindset, you need to stop hoarding knowledge and start applying it. Think of the smartest people you know. Are they the ones who quote textbooks, or the ones who solve problems in creative ways? Elon Musk didn't master rocket science in a university. He read books, asked questions, ran experiments, failed, adjusted, and tried again. That's the blueprint. Financial psychology isn't about knowing every investment term. It's about knowing how to think, pivot, and make decisions that align with long-term goals. So here's a practical exercise. For every new piece of content you consume, ask yourself, how can I apply this today? Don't just watch motivational videos. Turn the motivation into action. Want to build millionaire habits? Read Atomic Habits by James Clear, then design a system for your morning routine. Want to reprogram your mind for wealth? Start journaling your daily money beliefs and decisions. Because true intelligence comes alive only when the mind, body, and energy move in sync. Here's something few people talk about in the world of success: alignment. Not the kind you get at the chiropractor, but the internal kind. Sadhguru explains that to manifest anything powerful in life, your mind, body, emotions, and energies must all point in the same direction. Think of it like a team of horses pulling a carriage. If they're all going different ways, you're going nowhere. That's exactly what happens when your goals don't match your daily actions. People say they want financial freedom, yet spend their time scrolling, doubting, procrastinating, or self-sabotaging. That's misalignment. You can't claim to believe in abundance and then act like money's always slipping through your fingers. The financial freedom mindset requires congruence. That means setting money beliefs that support growth, surrounding yourself with habits that fuel clarity, and staying consistent even when results are invisible. The subconscious doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you prove through repetition. So what's one simple way to align your system? Start your morning intentionally. Instead of diving straight into emails or social media, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Visualize your goals. Speak them out loud. Move your body. Then take action that reflects those intentions. Wealth doesn't show up randomly. It's summoned when your entire being works like a magnet. But here's the catch. Even a single doubt can cancel it all. Which brings us to something most people get completely wrong. Ever notice how quickly people say, "That's not possible?" Or, "I could never do that." Just like that, the door slams shut. Sadhguru points out a powerful truth. Every time you doubt your goal, you're mentally canceling it. Saying, "I don't believe it can happen," is the same as saying, "I don't want it." Your subconscious doesn't judge, it just obeys. That's why belief isn't just fluffy positivity. It's the engine of manifestation. Without it, you're stalled before you even start. Think about it. If someone handed you a map to buried treasure, but you didn't believe the treasure existed, would you dig? Probably not. The same applies to your goals. The richest people in the world didn't start rich, but they believed they could get there. They had a financial freedom mindset before the money ever arrived. That belief shifted how they acted, what they risked, and how they responded to failure. Belief is the seed, and every action is the watering. Now, belief doesn't mean blind optimism. It means a quiet conviction that something is possible, even if it's not probable yet. It's the foundation of reprogramming your mind for wealth. So if you've got subconscious money blocks whispering, "You'll never be rich," you've got work to do. One of the best ways to rewire that is by exposing yourself daily to proof, books, people, stories of those who went from nothing to everything. But as belief builds, so does the temptation to chase money for the wrong reasons. Here's where many people trip up. They start treating money like a scoreboard. They want more not to improve their life, but to impress someone else. Sadhguru calls this out directly. Money should simplify your life, not complicate it. It's just a tool, a means to an end. The moment it becomes the end itself, you've lost the game. And ironically, that obsession often repels money rather than attracts it. If you've ever found yourself buying something just to look successful, you've already stepped into that trap. That's a classic sign of the scarcity versus abundance mindset. Thinking wealth must be displayed or it's not real. But the truth? The richest people are often the most unassuming. Look at Ingvar Kamprad, founder of IKEA. He drove a beat-up Volvo and flew economy. Why? Because he understood money is just a tool to build, to grow, to serve, not to flaunt. Want to shift your relationship with money? Try this. Next time you make a financial decision, ask yourself, is this making my life easier or just making me look wealthier? A financial psychology reset begins when money decisions come from clarity, not ego. And once you master that tool, you'll start to see how earlier societies balanced wealth with something we've all but forgotten today. Back in the day, wealth came with wisdom. Kings had sages. Merchants supported temples. Even the richest knew without a spiritual anchor, prosperity becomes poison. Sadhguru highlights this lost balance. We've kept the money, but ditched the depth. And what's left? Empty ambition. When wealth rises but consciousness doesn't, people start mistaking noise for purpose. That's when you see burnout, addiction to status, and that eerie feeling of having everything yet feeling nothing. You don't need to be religious to feel spiritually anchored, you just need stillness. Time to reflect. Time to remember that money is fuel, not fulfillment. Want a strong example? Look at Naval Ravikant. The guy preaches building wealth but pairs it with meditation, solitude, deep thinking. That's a spiritual foundation. That's why his decisions aren't swayed by the market's chaos or social media drama. Millionaire habits that last? They're rooted in something unshakable. So if you're on the path to reprogram your mind for wealth, don't skip the inner work. Journaling, silence, nature, reading books like The Untethered Soul or The Power of Now. You've got to train your soul to handle what your ambition is asking for. Because the higher you rise financially, the more important grounding becomes. And when that anchor is missing, society starts slipping too. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when wealth was worn with humility, not blasted across Instagram stories or plastered on rented Lambos. Sadhguru points out that today we've traded depth for display. The cultural shift isn't just about more money, it's about how we carry it. And when inner development doesn't keep up with outer success, things start to rot from the inside. That's why we see so many people with everything, yet feel they're nothing. Modern culture often equates success with visibility. If it's not online, it didn't happen. But here's the cost. Real growth becomes background noise. Financial freedom becomes a performance, not a pursuit. And that's the trap. Because when your money mindset is shaped by comparison and performance, you're chasing an illusion. Meanwhile, people with true wealth mindset, they're building silently, away from the crowd, free from the noise. So what's the antidote? Inner work, stillness, mentors who've walked the path. Books like Deep Work by Cal Newport or The Almanac of Naval Ravikant offer a path back to sanity. If you want to reprogram your mind for wealth, you need to stop treating culture as gospel. Don't just follow what's trending, follow what's true. Because when you're anchored in truth, that's when the secrets really start to unfold. So now you know what most people don't, the hidden layers behind the millionaire mindset, the financial psychology that actually builds wealth from the inside out. But knowledge means nothing if it just sits in your head. What are you going to do with this? Are you going to keep living on autopilot, letting old money beliefs and subconscious money blocks hold you back? Or are you ready to flip the script, To reprogram your mind for wealth, align your energy, and step into the abundance that's already waiting for you. Here's your challenge. Pick one of these secrets and act on it today. Journal your beliefs. Start your day in silence. Shift your focus from chasing money to creating value. And once you feel that shift, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your family, your friends, your circle. Help the people you love step into this new way of thinking too. And hey, if you want more real talk like this, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and keep showing up for yourself. Because this is just the beginning.